welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I got the house to myself, so I thought I would bring you on a yoga journey with me. Today there is no particular plan. I'm simply going to move through what my body is guiding me towards, and you're welcome to tag along if you feel called. All you're going to need today is a mat or a blanket or a towel or whatever you want to use for your surface beneath you. I have 2 blocks here and 1 bolster. Whether you have that or not, it's okay. You can always substitute things like rolled up towels, pillows. The blocks I've seen these are eggs. They're curved because our body is curved, but there's also the rectangular blocks that people use. I've also seen people use things like toilet paper rolls and cans and, whatever you have, little boxes, what you might need in case you want some support or you want to raise the floor a little bit if, our limbs are all different lengths and all of our bodies are different. So we can always make it work. So again, welcome and enjoy the journey. Let's begin seated. Let's begin seated somewhere around the middle of our mat. And if sitting in easy pose like this is not comfortable for you, you can sit the way I was before, which was hero's pose, where you're resting on the shins and the legs are tucked underneath. You can also place something underneath your hips like this. That actually feels better for me today. And just like I did there, go ahead and begin taking some deeper, more intentional breaths to start this off. You might even want to close the eyes. And while you're embracing a fairly tall seated position, we're not overdoing anything. So you have a long spine, but you're also relaxed at the same time. And as we take these deeper breaths, perhaps we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. A little bit of a cleansing and clearing intention. And allowing that exhale to be a little bit longer than the inhale. And as you breathe in, you're filling the vessel and the lungs and everything up to complete capacity. And then emptying out just the same all the way. One more time. Coming back to a natural rhythm. I'm simply pausing right here, noticing, checking in, maybe even scanning the entire body for a moment, all the way from the toes to the top of the head. Just observing what you find at this moment. If you are joining me at the beginning of your day, perhaps you set an intention leading into that, setting the tone. If this is the middle of the day, perhaps you are letting go of what has happened before, this morning, resetting for your afternoon or your evening. And if this is something you are choosing to practice at night before bed, maybe a deeper release of the day and a welcoming into a good night's sleep. Now, whatever you're noticing about your body and your mind and your energy in this moment, it's simply information. May we release any judgments or expectations around what this practice should be like, and allowing it to unfold with grace, with ease, with patience. Slowing down enough to be completely present in what we're feeling and experiencing along the way. Allowing this practice to be a teaching of many kinds. Allowing it to open us up into truth. And just allowing yourself to be exactly who you are and what you are in this moment. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's really blissful and dreamy, and sometimes we're focused more on the physical parts, with our technique and things like that. But everything in moderation, everything in respect, and allowing curiosity to be part of it. And as you take your next inhale, we'll lift our arms out and up. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart. One more time, inhale and lift. Exhale, draw the hands to center. Last one, reach and gather. Exhale, hands to heart. Leaning forward, planting the hands on the surface in front of you, and coming into a tabletop pose where we can dance our lion. Just adding some nice, slow, intentional movements into our body. Allowing the rhythm of your natural breath pattern to guide you and your body. You can hear all my bones cracking. So this is almost like a hello to the body, like a welcoming in and a communication of your intentions. This Practice is always going to work on your relationship that you have with yourself and your mind and your body and how you communicate together and work together. Shows you where you might be at battle with one another. It happens. That's why we practice, right? We can find that middle space, that compromise. Maybe some cat-cows if that feels good for you. As we inhale, we let the tailbone lift, the chin lift. You might even tuck the toes. As you exhale, you might release the tops of the feet down, tucking the chin and rounding. And back to neutral. Now bringing the knees together, tucking your toes. We're going to go ahead and sit back toward the heels. Now, this is going to open up your feet and all that fascia that's in there, all the tightness that we sometimes feel in the toes. If we're wearing closed-toed shoes all day, this is a nice little wake up. Now this can be very sensitive, so you might stay here with the hands kind of locked down on the floor with less weight in the back. However, if you're able, you can go ahead and sit all the way back and lift your upper body up like I am here. I have to actually lift my pinky toes. They don't want to flatten out as easily as the rest. There's also another option here, which I'll show you. You can take your block or whatever you're using, rolled up towel, and you can also place it kind of on the lower portion of the calves and sit. This is really nice too, making like a little seat. So quite a few options. Modify how you need to. And once you find that sweet spot, you want to pay attention to the heels and have the heels, you want to either keep them parallel or moving inward. They might want to kind of go out to the sides a little bit toward the pinky side of the feet. So make sure that you are balanced out within the feet if you can. And when you start to feel that burn, which you will, some people will have a stronger burn than others, this is where you are invited to breathe. You are always welcome to take breaks from any postures at any time if you need to. Some days we want to lean in a little more deeply, leaning into those thresholds and pushing the edges a little bit more, and some days not so much. You get to decide. This is your practice. Everything is simply an invitation, never an obligation. Every day you show up to the mat, I always like to invite you to come with a new set of eyes, clearing the slate. No matter how long you've been practicing, how much time you've taken off, how flexible or unflexible you are, it does not matter. Every day is a new day. accessible to you at this time. You may start to feel muscles responding in the longer poses. Sometimes they like to shake a little bit. It's like a recalibration that's happening. Sometimes the sensations will intensify, and sometimes the sensations will dissipate. So each journey is unique and different and special. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then as you take an inhale, start to come forward, placing your hands back down again to support you. Oh, release the feet. You might want to just wiggle them around like I am here, and you might even tap them on the floor, whatever it is that you want to do. Loosen them up, let that blood flow disperse. That nice sigh of relief I'm sure some of you had. I think I heard you through the screen. I usually do in the classes. And then come on back to a child's pose. You can keep the knees together and just drape the body over the thighs, or you can take the knees wider and let the belly kind of float between. It's up to you. You can bring your forehead down. You might even use a block like I am here to rest your forehead. Connecting that third eye, maybe tapping into that space for a moment. And letting the whole body simply drape down, rounding the back, releasing any effort here. Softening the muscles in the face and the jaw. And coming back into the breathing. don't have a block or anything close by, go ahead and grab that. We're going to place this out in front of us. And what I'm going to do is put it under my right hand. So my left hand is on the floor and my right hand is on top of the block. Bringing my left leg up so that it's on the inside of my left hand. And you can see at my left hand here, I'm on my fingertips. So this is the option without blocks. The right hand with the block underneath is the other option. It's just raising me up a little bit from the floor. You're also more than welcome to just lose the blocks and go down to a flat palm. That's available to you. I'm a little tighter at this moment, so I'd like to be a little higher. So I'm going to use the modifications. And you can also use a block under both hands. I'm just not at this moment. In this lunge that I'm in here, you'll notice that my knee is above my ankle. That is very good for the knee. If the toes are back behind the knee, sometimes it can get a little more stressful on the knee. It's not always discouraged or encouraged, but you're going to know whether you have knee issues or not. But the alignment of the bones being stacked is always something I like to follow, kind of as a little bit of a rule of thumb. Really depends on how detailed you want to get, how much weight you're dumping down on the joints and things like that. I have a pretty wide split going on here. You can inch back little by little if you feel called to. As we drop the hips down toward the floor, really opening up into the groin spaces. You might feel this a little bit in that left hamstring. You can stay here if you love the lunge. For those of you that want to go a little bit deeper, you can walk that left arm inside the left leg and maybe walk that left leg out a little. If we go into lizard, I'm going to use my block here, turning my block sideways and coming down to the forearms. You can also come all the way down to the floor. You can also stack your blocks. And this is going to take you a little bit deeper. It's going to shift your hips a little bit too. Like my left knee has now come away from the body a little. You can turn this foot out on a more of an angle if you'd like. See what that feels like. Keeping in mind the length of your spine. Holding yourself here. If you're trying too hard, you will know. In the yin postures, we definitely want to lean against that edge a little bit, but not too far. We want to feel the things, but we want to move with a gentleness. And an ease and a grace. Option here is to just let the head go. You're already where you need to be. If you're in lizard, start coming out of that space. Bringing yourself back to that lunge position. So left arm would come back around. And then go ahead and start to sit the hips back, straightening out that left leg, coming into a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. You can lift those left toes and you can let the body round over that leg for a couple of breaths. To that tabletop, maybe we move around a little, kind of make nice. Just seeing the beautiful response from that opener, the space you've created and where. I'll do the same thing I did on the other side, just to show you on a different angle. So I have my left hand on top of the block, my right hand in the teepee fingers, right foot comes up to the inside, finding that lunge, shifting how I feel called to shift, to honor my body. Journey of merging with the breathing and softening into the shape with full awareness and presence. Now, I always mention, and I usually do, I always find that this is so important to share, and that is that, yes, we're doing both sides, but depending on what's going on in your body, you may not do the exact same thing on both sides. Maybe because of an injury, you might have one side that just happens to be a little more open than the other. You know, it could be from doing repetitive sports of some kind, where you're more developed on one side than the other. Could be a whole bunch of different things. You know, some people have one leg a little longer than the other. There's lots of contributing factors. So that's why it's important to really be present with what's happening in the moment. So that being said, I'm going to attempt doing my lizard on this side and see how it feels. I still have a little bit of a thing going on in my one hip, so we'll see if today's the day where I can do it. So again, if you're doing lizard, you want to bring that right arm to the inside of the right leg. And then maybe you lower down to the forearms, whether it's modified or not. Depends on where you are. Present with each breath that moves in and out of the body, each one representing the life, death, and rebirth cycle. Every single one. take a breath in, you can start to come back up nice and slow. Take as much time as you need. You can bring that right arm back around to the outside, the right leg, and slowly shift the weight back, straightening out that right leg and folding over top. Take a few breaths here. Tabletop once again. Here we are. Take some movement if you'd like, or simply sit back. Move however you feel called. I always like to encourage you to just do what you feel. Don't even get into the mind part of it. Like I'm just sitting here rocking my hips. I wouldn't even know what to call this. I'm just doing my thing. So I always invite that freedom for you to express yourself however you feel called. There doesn't have to be a label on everything. There doesn't have to be a specific way of doing things. You know, it's like inviting in that childlike play. Now I'm going to use my blocks again for this one. So if you'd like to, you can, or you can just use the mat or whatever you're on. And I'm placing these about shoulder width apart, dropping down onto them with my forearms, letting my wrists kind of hang over the edges, coming into a melting heart or a puppy pose. So the hips are lifted, the arms are straightened, and the chest, the heart, the head is all coming between, creating a hammock-like shape in the upper body, deep into this shoulder area. You might even feel this in the abdominals. I like to draw my belly button in toward my spine here and create a little bit of a bowl in the lower belly. I also like to work with my Mula Bandha here. That's the energy lock at the pelvic floor. And you can always turn your head to the side. Really beautiful opener for that front part of the abdominal space. If you are turning the head, I'm going to invite you now to turn to the other side so that you can honor both sides of the neck. neutral if it's not already there. And just starting to lift out of this nice and slow. Bringing the body back up. Maybe taking some slow shoulder rolls back and forward. You can use your own judgment on how you want to do that for yourself, the pace, number. Again, just feeling it out, letting your body guide you. And coming to a seat. Extending the legs out in front of us for caterpillar. So legs are together-ish. Bringing the left leg to be long and keeping the right leg bent so the right foot comes to the inner thigh on that left leg. Savasana. Angling yourself over that left leg, taking a deep breath in, reaching the arms up, and folding over that left leg. Now you can bend the knee if you need to in order to reach the foot or the toes. And you can stay engaged, or you can become a little bit more passive, to be a little more in that yin energy if you want to just simply fold and relax and let gravity do the work. Or you can stay a little more engaged for this, creating a little more length in the spine. They will feel completely different, so it just depends on your intention here. If you want a little more of the active yin, or the other yin. Noticing if you're engaging that left quadricep, and if you are, I just noticed that I was doing that. And letting those muscles relax, you might notice that the knee pops up naturally from that as you create some space there. And for me, once I did that, I went from feeling it higher up in the hamstring to now feeling it lower in the hamstring behind my knee and into my calf. So this is why I like to say there's really no right or wrong way to do it, because you're going to be feeling things differently, first of all, because we're all different. Our bodies are all experiencing something different. And you're going with what feels good to you, you know? Where do you want to feel the stretch? Is it safe? Are you in alignment? Are you tighter today? Perhaps you're more flexible today. You're going to be adjusting this each and every time you enter this practice. That's why we stay present and we come out of that autopilot. A lot of times we can get into that habitual thing with anything, but yes, with yoga, where we just simply do what we always do. And I'm inviting the opposite. Show up like it's your first time, even if it's your 100th time. Give your body that freedom to express itself newly, freshly. turn over toward that right side and come around and just twist a little bit behind. And then coming out of that, so lengthening that right side. And we'll switch. So now the left foot comes in to the right thigh. And this is that side I'm going to modify for myself so I don't put too much pressure on that hip. Okay, this is why I love the eggs. It feels very comfortable. And take a breath in, exhaling over that right side, finding whatever's available to hold on to, bending if you need to, and simply feeling yourself through this next 2-3 minutes or so. And disengage that right quadricep if you're too contracted there. Always a reminder to come back to the breath. It's okay when the mind wanders. It's also okay when the mind starts to fixate on something, but just notice and allow yourself to soften around that. The thoughts are going to come and go. We can't stop them. However, we also can allow them to simply float in and out versus them coming in and taking control over our experience. I don't believe the goal is to ever stop what's happening, but it's to notice our response around what's happening, how we react or engage with it. That's where we have the choice. And taking just a few more moments right here. Observing, witnessing, learning. And then rising up and out, nice and slow. If again you want to go into that little bit of a counter twist, you can come around from that left side and just open it up. Ooh, a nice little pop. I don't know if you heard that. And then coming out I'm going to roll all the way down to my back and hug the knees into the chest. Maybe roll. I like to take circles. Some people like to simply just go back and forth from left to right. I prefer to do all the things. I like that full range of motion. My knees are wider. To get that little bit of a massage for my mid-lower back and my hips and glutes, my sacrum. Here for quite a while, so take as much time as you would like or need here. And whenever you're ready to, you can either rock yourself back up or you can lean to the side and press yourself up. And take your pillow or your bolster or whatever you might be using. I have a bolster that is pretty flat and flexible, right? You can either use it nice and low like this, or you can, I like these ones because you can fold them in half. Gives me a higher back bend, and you bring it all the way to the back of you so that it's touching your sacrum. And we're going to simply lay back into a heart opener. Now, if you have if you want a deeper back bend like I'm doing here, but you don't want to be as open in the throat, or if your head doesn't touch down, you can always use your blocks. Create a surface where you can rest, like so. And you can fine-tune everything, get cozy. I will be leaving my knees bent like this. You are more than welcome to lengthen the legs long down the mat, or coming into butterfly. So reclined butterfly, you would bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open like this. Or again, like I was in more of a conscious rest where the feet are rooted. The knees are up, you could even drop the knees together. And for the arms, you can have them out to the sides like I have mine, or maybe roll the palms open. If you want more grounding, you could roll the palms down. Or if you really want to open up, you could take the arms back behind you. Actually, I like this one for me today. Feels really good. Space is being created between the ribs, the intercostals. You're getting a really deep opening here. This can feel vulnerable sometimes, especially if you're also in butterfly. So just acknowledge what you're feeling in these shapes, what it might bring up for you. Softening all those rigid spaces that could be there. Notice where you might be holding on, where you really don't need to be. Can you allow yourself or give yourself permission to really drop in? To really drop in and trust the unfolding. trusting that space that you're opening up into once that resistance softens a little bit. And it's not that we're fighting against resistance. We're simply leaning into the space of resistance. When you lean into it, it's like you're befriending it. You know, you're befriending and you're shifting the energy and your perception around that wall, or that, you know, sometimes we have these connotations around what things are, and it's like a fight. And we're not fighting anything here. We're softening. And the softening happens when you simply lean into it. You lean into it with curiosity, like I said earlier. You're just exploring. Sometimes it's a new space. The more we open, the more we're leaning into an unfamiliar territory. And the safer you feel in your space and in your body, the easier it is to find that softness. So it's not really something we're aiming to do. It's just something that kind of happens naturally when we move into that space of trust, having an open mind, an open heart. Allowing yourselves to be guided, trusting that we're held and protected, because we are holding ourselves, we are respecting ourselves, so we feel protected in that regard. Take our time coming out of this one. So if you have your arms back like I do, the first step will be to just bring the arms down nice and slow. Pausing here. If you have your legs in butterfly, go ahead and draw your knees back up, root your feet to the floor, and pause there. Take a few more breaths here. Just roll off to one side, it doesn't matter which one. You get to pick. You can take that bolster out from underneath, and you can either, you're going to lay back down, we're moving into Savasana soon, so you can either use it for under your knees, so you can leave it there, or you can take it off to the side. But come back down to your back. Hug the knees in again. Take some movement. Just making nice with the spine, rounding it back out. welcome to do that as well. Sometimes Shavasana can be traditional, laying down, everything relaxed against the floor. Sometimes it looks like this. You can take whichever one you feel called to do. Find a place where you can be for about 5 minutes in stillness, letting your entire practice go, trusting that every posture, everything you acknowledged, it has all been on purpose and it has all led you to this point. Our final resting pose, where you get to reap all the benefits, letting the breath shift into its natural state. Allowing yourself to simply be. take all the time you'd like here in your Savasana. It's always an honor to practice with you. Thank you again. Until next time.